Hey guys, Dan here from Project Dead Gaming. I've got another Odd Eyes deck list for you. This is consisting of some new supports thanks to the Rokket structure deck. I'm actually going to do this a little bit backwards. So we've got Electromite. You can't play a Pendulum deck without Electromite. Zephyr Metaltron because it's an easy link 3 for Odd Eyes to go into. BLS, this is pretty easy to go into with all the active continuous of being untargetable and indestructible for opponent card effects because of the levels that Odd Eyes happen to have. Topologic Zero Boros, one of the first cards that is from the structure deck. I believe there was about, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 or 3 ultras in the extra deck. I haven't really looked at the deck myself. I got this in a single. But this is the new topologic monster, so it's obviously going to banish stuff or destroy. So what this does, this is the last resort for the deck, so come on, focus, there we go. So this is pretty simple to make. You just need 2 effect monsters that, well, 1 link 3 or 2 link 2s, and you're good to go on this. So you can make this. It's funny to play it against a Gren Magi deck because you basically benefit off them playing. And if it special summons during its on its own, and your opponent summons to his own, and link monster pointing to, you basically get to banish more. Sure, Gren Magi bonuses from that, but so will that. Cerberus, so you can turbo out more pieces. And this kind of screws over Salads and a few other decks. Salads, because if you take their 1 Gazelle, they can't really do a whole lot. So you want to run this to take that Gazelle, or if you're going against certain other decks that only have 1 copy of whatever a good combo piece is for that deck, always take that 1 combo piece if it's a monster. Now, since this is Odd Eyes, you definitely have to run these 2. Odd Eyes Absolute, so you can summon have another way to summon Vortex. This has more uses in this build than most other builds, so it does have its monster effect prevention during battle, but that's not the only use for it in this build. I'll explain that later. I'm running the Supreme King Dragon Clearwang. Supreme King Dragon Clearwang. Oh god, Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, because it's a board nuke and also doesn't burn. And for non-targeting spin, we're also running Ignister Prominence, because it also sets off your Pendulum, or Electromite if you haven't used it yet that turn. Now this is for when you're going into time. Just make this and do a little bit of burn, and you should be pretty good. Vortex Dragon's a given. We all should know what that does by now. This is also for going into time. Say your opponent stops you from being able to go into Synchros for some reason or other. Fusion Summon Gatling Ghoul. Burn them for 200 on each, for each monster on the board, and then pop something if they have anything. There's another one of the supports, Borload Furious Dragon. Wow, I had a problem saying that. So this is funny because if you go to pop an Odd Eyes with this monster's effect, you're not only going to be setting off the Odd Eyes, Pendulum Dragon, you're also going to be popping something on your opponent's build, or on your opponent's side of the field. Give me a sec. Come on, focus.
Activating would be responding to this. But this says you can't respond to it, so you can't do anything about it.
Why is this not focusing? Why is this not focusing?
Yeah.
Why is this having issues focusing? There we go. So it needs two dark dragon monsters. What are Odd Eyes for the most part? Dragons and dark. And banish this and summon a dark link. I think the only one that's really in here would be the Cerberus. So that one's kind of funny. Cerberus. Say you went into Cerberus after this or before this, you should be pretty good. Its effects aren't activating to the turn, but that's fine. You want it there for the opponent's turn. And then Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. At some point I am going to try and fit in a Odd Eyes Venom Dragon because there are some hilarious plays with that. That's it for the extra deck.
That's fine.
For the main deck. So we have our 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. And I've seen people run this at 2. Personally, I would prefer to run this at 2, but in this build, it's best at 1 copy. And then this, people like to run it at 3. For whatever reason, I don't understand. But I prefer to run the Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon at... What in the world is going on?
You have one now. What am I going to do?
So yeah, Odd Eyes Phantom.
You have one now.
I like to run it at 1 because it's a utility card for the deck. We got the Chronograph Electromite Turbo / Chronograph Engine. There's 3 Chrono, 1 Time Gazer. Should be self-explanatory at this point. Normally, I would say run this at 3-1, but I'm running this at 2-1 because of necessity for space in the deck.
This is my winner. Already won, bro. This is a good one.
We got the Mythical Beast engine for both turboing Electromite as well as making some pretty annoying boards go away. Two Persona. This is good at 2 or 3, depending on how you want to run the deck. Personally, I like it at 2. Here's our main summon targets for Odd Eyes. Our Pendulum Dragon. Performapal, Odd Eyes Synchron. Performapal, Odd Eyes Dissolver. Walk and Poly. So it's one of the many ways that we have to get Electromite out, or Odd Eyes Vortex out. Odd Eyes Phantasma Dragon. This is for when you're pushing for game. These are both for when you're setting up. Depends on how your hand is set up. The two generic tuners for the deck, Glow Up Bulb and Destrudo. Now for our hand traps, we're running one Droll in the main deck, one Ghost Belle in the main deck, two Ash in the main deck, and two Ogre in the main deck. Any additional copies of any of these cards are all on the side. Any more will actually hinder the deck, and you adjust as needed depending on opponent. We're running 3 Spiral Flame Strike, mandatory 3 of, cannot do without it. 3 Allure, mandatory 3 of, it's your entire draw engine. 2 Return of the Dragon Lords, because what are odd eyes? Level 7 and 8. The 2 field spells that we have. One Sky Iris and 1 Dragon Ravine. Normally I would be running a Terraforming, but I actually don't want to be running Terraforming in this build. It does take up too much space. 1 Dragon Shrine, 1 Foolish Burial. Dumping Darkwurm, Destrudo, and Glow Up Bulb if needed. And because Odd Eyes fit into this, for the most part, we're running 1 Ruins of the Divine Dragon Lords because it's recurable and all that. We're running Foolish Goods because we can dump this, something that you don't need anymore to be in the deck, or you can dump one of these.
And then last player gets attacked.
Now, the last Rokket support that is in the deck, Rapid Trigger. Because this fusion summons by destroying, you can have some pretty hilarious things happen. You can go and summon Vortex off of this by using a Odd Eyes and Gate 0 while you have no low scale, but you have our Pendulum in the scale. So you end up with a net gain of 1 card on the board at least. So leave a comment, subscribe, or let me know what you think of the deck. I might have some combo tutorials going up at some point. Just keep watching, you'll see. Peace out.